Hello, welcome to another episode of Mike and Dave's Hi-Fi Riff. I'm Mike Evans.
And I'm David Price.
And David, on this week's riff, what are we going to be talking about?
Well, I think we better look at what you've just searched for on your smartphone, Mike. Would you like to show the viewers?
On the back of this riff, I'm trying to preempt demand because I've done a search. I'm not sure we can see this very easily. I've done an eBay search on.
Hold it up to the camera. Mike.
Okay. Here we are.
Just to prove how sad you are.
Yeah, I know. I am very sad. I don't know how if we can focus that in, but there we are. Yeah. I've just done a search on
the realistic Minimus 7 loudspeakers.
Quiet speakers.
Yes, quiet speakers.
Quiet speakers.
Yes.
And here they are. That took me by surprise again because they're so heavy.
Yeah,
they weigh a ton.
They do.
They really do. They're they're made of sort of kryptonite or something.
Yes, probably.
Lead lined.
Yeah.
I remember.
It's almost as heavy as your wallet, Mike.
Well, what can I say? I remember we used to have a Tandy Radio Shack in America, but Tandy in our local town where we went to school.
Yes.
And I remember going in and sort of being particularly sort of underwhelmed by their sort of hi-fi and their speakers and their stuff. You go in to buy, I don't know, weird stuff, wouldn't you? Sort of a connector or something, or
electronics components.
Electronic component, a reel of cable or something, and that's sort of what they sold. And you never really thought too much about buying, realistic speakers, because realistic were the sort of their home brand, weren't they?
Yes, and generally they weren't very realistic.
They weren't very realistic at all. But
I'll just take the blue tack off.
Of course you can. But I totally missed these when I was there. Obviously,
they're so small.
Well, yeah, and also how cool they are.
Yeah.
And had I realised how brilliant these little speakers were, I would have bought a pair years and years ago.
Yeah.
We used to have a pal of ours called Alan Greer. He used to work in there. He was a really nice chap.
Right.
Yeah, he was a really good lad. So he would have sold these, but he never told me about them.
No.
And he would have easily sold a pair to me if he could.
Maybe he didn't like you, Mike.
Well, maybe that. It's probably extremely likely, unfortunately. I hate it when you're right.
History is unravelling now. Live on air.
What year are these? Do you know? Have you any idea when these came out?
So
I'm just looking. These are made in Canada, Ontario.
Yeah,
like all good things.
Absolutely. So these are where we go. Well, I've got it's made in Japan actually, but it's for Radio Shack in Ontario.
Oh yes, manufactured in Japan.
So,
yes. Yeah. Okay. So what? How old would these be approximately?
So realistic or Tandy or Radio Shack as they were called in the States. Mm-hmm. Hello, our American viewers.
All two of you.
Well, a couple of guys in the comments, Mike. At least
there are. Yes, there are. Yes.
So So 1978 to 1993.
Okay.
So there you go. So absolutely, 1978 was a good year.
Yes.
The Yamaha NS1000M came out, for example.
Yeah. You've just got a new car from around about that era, haven't you? Can we talk about your car for a second? You've just got a really cool car. We should mention it.
Well, if you want to.
Yeah. David's just got a really amazing Jaguar XJS.
Yes.
And it's the one of the last ones ever made, isn't it?
It
is.
The
Celebration edition.
Yeah.
So it's a 4-litre 4-litre engine.
4-litre AJ16. Yeah.
Fantastic. What year is that?
1996.
Oh, so I'm way out.
You're absolutely way out. So
I
was wondering what you were talking about.
Okay.
So yes, but it's a lovely car that we call it in the trade a restoration project.
Yes, yes.
Which is
why your wallet is a lot lighter than these speakers.
Yes, indeed.
Because you've got a Jag.
It's a long way from getting driving from one place to another under its own steam at the moment.
So actually, as a result of that expenditure, you must have probably not spent very much on these, I would imagine. How much did these cost?
Well, these were, I think, 22 quid on eBay.
Which is why I was looking.
Yeah.
Now, can I just say, nobody go and start looking on eBay and pushing the prices up of these before I've bought a pair, please.
Okay.
So same old, usual rules apply. Yeah. 22 quid, that's ridiculous. These are fantastic for 22 quid.
When they were new, Mike, they were a lot more. They were like 49 or something per speaker.
In the late 70s.
Yeah.
Yes.
So certainly in the early 80s, I remember them costing that much. So it's about they weren't cheap compared to cheap speakers. but they were obviously a lot cheaper than high-end stuff.
Why do these sound so good?
Right. Well, I think there's several reasons. Firstly, the cabinet is cast aluminium alloy, which is rigid and tight, and obviously doesn't flex in the way that wooden cabinets do. The other one is the cabinets are tiny, so I don't know how many millimeters it is, but that's basically my hand. That's how small it is, my sort of hand span. And obviously they have the drive units very close together, so you kind of got a near point source. That's another good thing. So that's why the imaging is so good. And also they used decent drive units. So whoever the Japanese OEM, original equipment manufacturer company was, they used decent drive units. So the point is, I think that the big surprise about these is they are much better than you'd expect from anything coming from Tandy.
Oh my gosh, absolutely,
So,
yeah. They're fantastic.
I mean, if sort of Celestion or Kef or someone did this and sort of said, this is their new design, we'll be going, oh, wow, that's really clever, that's really good. They're so good for the size, it's incredible, how did you do that? But because they were on sale from Tandy, where you could buy absolute junk, sorry, Alan Greer, then I think that's the big surprise. But I'm actually getting a stiff arm now due to holding these things up. They weigh a ton.
They really do.
For the size. So, and if you're of a tweaky mindset, then you can upgrade them quite easily as well.
Can you?
Unscrew the backs.
Okay.
Get access to the drivers. You can put a better quality capacitor in. They use sort of fairly so capacitors in the crossover. The crossover isn't very complex, but and also obviously you can rewire them as well. So they're a really easy DIY.
Have you done anything to these ones?
I haven't done anything, but I'm going to. And you can also do a little bit of extra damping as well inside the cabinet, although it is pretty well damped for what it is. There's actually quite a lot of information on the internet. So a lot of people seem to have stumbled upon these, and a lot of kind of electronics guys and speaker tweakers, if that's a phrase.
That's a good phrase.
Just made that up.
That's excellent.
Speaker tweakers love them. So maybe that's why they're not so easy to find on eBay.
Do you reckon you could change the? Because I don't particularly like these connectors and the speaker connectors in the back. They're a bit
kind of spring clip.
Yeah, they're not great. I can't imagine getting a very good sort of connection in there, and it's a tiny aperture.
Yeah,
even getting a decent amount of cable in.
Yeah.
If you could, I wonder if you could put 4mm banana plugs on there.
Sure, you could.
Cool.
Put banana sockets or binding posts.
Which you had some speakers come back from Anna Peach, who are speaker tweakers.
Yes.
I noticed, and you had some of the coolest binding posts in the back that I've ever seen in a speaker. Which speakers were they? I honestly can't remember.
It could have been the Genexa Pro.
It was.
Yeah, with a Lineum tweeter on top.
That's it.
Which was another speaker sold through Tandy or Radio Shack, which was really good to everyone's shock and surprise.
Yes.
Because you didn't go into a Tandy expecting to hear good speakers.
No.
You went into expecting to hear absolute junk.
And you also got the coolest binding plugs I've ever seen in the back of them, unlike these, which are probably about the worst.
Yeah. So you can do to tweak them. Also, obviously, they are closed box. They're infinite baffle, which is great. So I was just removing the blue tack here, but what I do, I have them on I've got quite a high kind of chest of drawers in my bedroom, and I blue tack them both to either side of that, and so they're sitting really solid, and they sound really good.
Yes, and I mean they don't. Let's be real. I was going to be
realistic.
A terrible pun there, wasn't it? Let's be realistic. They don't have the deepest bass in the world, which you would expect,
That's
but the
understatement.
But the things they do brilliantly. They image beautifully. They're fast. They're transient. They're great fun to listen to. They've got a fabulous tonal quality. I love them.
Yes.
and I will buy a pair off eBay before this Riff goes public. That's my little promise.
Well, that's a shame, because this Riff's going public in 2 days.
I'm gonna get a wiggle on. Can somebody please advertise?
Yeah.
So I think these are just super cool.
Yeah.
And we recently did a riff on the Chord Annie which is their little sort of desktop amplifier.
Yeah.
And we were saying, we love the Annie. It's a great product. It's really cool, really funky, but gosh, is it expensive.
Yeah.
Now, this is sort of the antithesis of that, isn't it? For 22 quid, that's hi-fi bargain of the century.
The only downside is that they faced serious competition from the late 70s until the early 80s.
Yes. From
these.
They've got to be made in the same place, haven't they? I mean, they are almost identical.
Amstrad
LS-101 lavatory series.
So for the realistic Minimus 7 owner who's got everything.
Yes.
So here's what you buy him for Christmas.
Absolutely.
You buy him the
Amstrads. Yes.
Because it's so good it's bad. Or no, that's the wrong way around. It's so bad it's good. Yeah.
Yes.
So if you, your friends come around to your house and they see you playing your realistic Minimus 7, so they'll go, my God, they sound really good for such a tiny speaker, etc. That's brilliant. And then you go round to their house the next time and they've got
Amstrads,
these, which sound very, very, very similar, but have an Amstrad badge. That's too cool for school.
It really is. And you heard it here first.
Absolutely. So.
Brilliant. And on that bombshell. Oh, no, actually, we need to do a riffometer on these, don't we? Let's do a riffometer on the realistic. Yeah. What are you going to give them?
I'm going to give them 7.5.
Are you?
Yes.
Is that all?
Yeah, because, I mean, they're not... they're not exactly quad electrostatics, Mike.
No, they've got bass.
Yeah, well, they've got better bass, admittedly, exactly. And you should know because you've got quads.
These would be a really good super tweeter on top of the quads. Actually, that'd be great. I might try that.
Well, actually, you could use these as a subwoofer for your quads, couldn't you, Mike?
Yes.
So
you could just swap the quads.
If you want to find out what Geddy Lee is doing on Rush, then you could plug these in instead.
Who's he?
Yeah.
You mean there's another member of Rush I haven't heard?
Well, he sings and he plays bass guitar. And bass guitar is this instrument that's like a kind of, sort of electric guitar, but has 4 strings and it makes low frequency sounds, Mike.
And my quads don't go too high, so I can't hear his voice because he sings in a very high pitched voice.
So basically, Rush sounds like
Rush is just a 2-piece
through your quads. Okay.
So I'm definitely not. I'm going to give these a really solid 9. Because for 22 quid, you're having a laugh.
Well, yeah.
They are just brilliant, and I'm going to buy a pair. All right. And also, I should probably give them a 3 and keep the price down. But no, they're terrific for me, and I love them. So
all right. So this is going out in 3 days. I'm going to give these a 10. These are the best speakers I've ever heard. So I've just heard...
Stop it.
20 grand pair of Magicos, and I think these are better.
Stop it now. Oh, actually, sorry, it's just reminded me of something which I just do want to mention.
Yeah.
I had the absolute honour and pleasure of meeting Chris Franklin for the first time last weekend at the UK Audio Show. What an absolute legend. Chris Franklin, who, if you don't know, you should. He's a fantastic hi-fi journalist. We were weaned on him at a very young age when he wrote for Hi-Fi Review and the Flat Response.
And now writing for StereoNET.
Now he writes for StereoNET, which is brilliant.
Absolutely.
Which is how I got the pleasure to meet him.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm saying this is because Chris Franklin did the legendary article where he compared a NAD 3020 phono stage to an Audio Research SP9.
Yes.
NAD being about 100 quid, Audio Research being about 10 grand.
Yes.
And said that the NAD was way better.
Yes.
And he had me at hello.
Yes.
So they say also never meet your heroes. Well, Chris Franklin, you're just a hero and you're a pleasure to meet. So it was a great night. So fantastic. Anyway, there we are. On that bombshell.
On that bombshell.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Mike and Dave's
Hi-Fi Riff. A pair of those really fast. Elevate the prices before Mike gets his eBay search.
Gosh. So. Elevate beyond the norm.
Absolutely.
We'll see you at the next one.
That's a Rush quote, by the way.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.